Right now. We live right now. All right, this is my boy King from Memphis. Normally there's usually a crew of six or more people, but tonight it is just me and King. Unfortunately, I have to say my homies, they all depressed because of the Trevon Diggs injury. It's all good. Not all of them, a few of them are just at the gym, some at work. But King is on the road heading to Texas as we speak with his lovely queen and his wife doing they do, but he's gonna take some time out. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk about this Trevon Diggs thing to
Right,
reassure people that it ain't over, even though everybody
right,
thinks it is over.
right.
What was your first reaction when you heard the news? How did you feel?
Well, with any injury, you're going to feel disappointed, especially of that caliber of player. And you got to also understand, he's one of the fan favorites. So
Yes.
the fact that we did lose his production will be missed. But at the same time, when you look at the like we say, it's always good about you always want good quality depth on your roster.
No, hold on. Go ahead, King. Continue on.
Okay, yeah,
You was on
yeah.
the phone.
Okay, you want good quality depth on your roster. When you're looking at a guy like Deron Bland, you hear a lot of the fans complaining saying that well, he's not Trevon Diggs. Well, he doesn't need to be Trevon Diggs, And I made a video earlier that I was saying how Deron Bland he does have some Niz William like traits in him. So he can stick with you in your hip pocket. He's pretty good. He got good technique. He turned his head. At this point in time, you really just want somebody. You really want good, solid ball players. It's all about having players on the field that can still get the offense off the field. Now, when you think of good cornerback, all fans want. Oh, we need to get the interception. Well, it's all about can you get this offense three and out off the field. And with the
Exactly.
and with our defense, we got a very good front line. Our linebackers playing well, so I feel like like I said, we got Stephon Gilmore, we got Deron Bland, I said Jordan Lewis. I think they're pretty solid. I still think they can get the job done. I still think offenses are going to have a problem when they see this defense, whether Diggs is in the lineup or not.
For sure. For sure. I mean, and I love Trayvon Diggs. I don't want, he's a definite stud. I don't want any injuries of any kind, but people are acting like this is Michael Parsons, who to me would be more of the key because of that front end, that pass rush will help that back end. Because people seem to forget. We had Anthony Brown last year and we kept on moving. But you're right.
Right.
All we gotta do is we put Blaine out there, Jordan Lewis would play the slot. We would just keep on moving. Um, why do you think people are having the overreaction? And do you think it's because it's a generational thing with the fan base where they haven't gone through a lot? So for them, this is just kind of like, man, this was going to be our year. And now suddenly they think the worst.
Well, I think it's a mixture thing. I mean, like I said, it's a young generational thing, and just like a lot of what's that little thing people be playing? It's like a football, some kind of fantasy football. You know,
Right.
yeah, I think that's a major. I think people put too much into it, and I think that's another reason why you get such a negative feedback when the players get hurt. Like I said, now Trayvon Diggs is a good player. He is a
Yeah.
fan favorite.
Yes, he
He's a
is.
fan favorite, and I guess you look at people looking at how many interceptions, how he can take out their best wide receiver, and now you're not going to have that. Now, take again. Now, Stephon Gilmore, he can take away your best receiver
Yes,
too,
he
because
can.
he is that good.
Yes, he is. He is that. Yeah, he is a top 5 rated corner. All it's gonna do to me is it's just gonna switch responsibility. He becomes your number one corner, Lamb becomes your number 2, and Jordan Lewis becomes your number 3. Now there was
Right. And let me.
some whispers, people talking about Anthony Brown. All right, we got a little bit of
There you go.
no, it's okay. You're on the road. You're on the road. I
Okay.
still got you there. What was you about to say?
Okay. Yeah. And I think another issue is a lot of these young. I think if you they look at more statistic than they look at what a player actually does out there on the field, and I think that's
That's true.
another reason why you have a major overreaction to as well.
That is true. That is true. I did see a tweet where you just basically said we got a nasty line. We'll see Diggs next year. We just keep it moving. Some people say that we should sign Anthony Brown. How do you feel about that?
Well,
Be
you
honest with me.
know,
Be honest. We ain't disrespecting nobody. Just give me.
no, I'm not. Honestly, I rather keep the young guys that's there that we have. I can see why they might want him because he does know the defense. Now, I'm not gonna just say he was terrible last year. I mean, he had. I remember that last year I had to give him a little props better than I had did the previous years. Now, I don't know. I think it's quite strange that the 49ers released him. I'm kind of wondering what's wrong with them
And actually, the
because
day
I
after
do
he,
have a good defense. They released that quick. Right. Honestly, I don't. My my cons out pros.
you must be riding over
Can you?
something.
Did you hear me?
Repeat it again, because it
I,
was
I
very
said
faint.
I said I said as far as him coming back, my cons were pros. Yeah, I'm not sure how he would look coming back off his injury. I just I kind of like
Yeah,
the upside of the
the
people that we got coming back.
yeah. And the thing is, I don't think they're gonna go that way because to me, if they wanted to even consider him, they would have signed him early in the year and just put him on the practice squad. So I don't think, and I think
Right
James
for
Slater,
a small contract.
yeah, yeah, put him on the practice squad and don't
Mm.
even have him on the 53. I don't think that's a route they're gonna go because from what we've seen, when they release you now with this current coaching regime, they
Not
don't
coming back.
revisit. They don't
That's
revisit. It's
true.
kind of like when people thought about Collins may come back. I'm like, nah, they ain't doing that. They
Mm-mm.
tried the veteran thing, kind of a guy that may be able to still play, and that hasn't worked out. I'm not talking about like Stephon Gilmore or Brandon Cooks. Those dudes can both play. But you know how it
Right.
was with Anthony Barr, Griffin, Poe. None of those things kind of worked out, and so I just
They
think
didn't
they
work out at all.
yeah they I
Mm-hmm.
definitely believe Eric Scott's about to get more reps, and the young corner that we traded from with Miami, and then Israel can play inside as well. So I think that's going to be the case. I don't think this changed anything about Super Bowl aspirations, though there are a lot of people think it is doomsday. And I don't think that is the case. Like I said, Michael Parsons is definitely the key. Uh, and I don't think they're going to be stressed out for the next 2 weeks. The 49ers game, even with that, I don't know if that's a stressed out game because I don't think they got that type of virtual attack. But like you said, it is what it is. It's going to be next man up. So with that being said, of the corners, who do you look at that you're like, okay, this is a bigger role, and do you believe it's going to be too big for that particular player? Like, I mean, no, I'm not saying anybody to replace Diggs, but who do you think is going to have a increase in snaps or increase in a role? Do you think it's Jordan Lewis? Do you think it's
Oh,
Israel?
Bland. Oh, um. Well, of course you got Jordan Lewis going to the slot. Of course, you're gonna have a big role in that defense because by Bland not playing slot, Bland does play that slot pretty well, very well to
Mhm.
be exact. And now with Bland gonna be kicked out to the side, with Trevon Diggs was, that's a little different too. And I think he can get the job done too on that. So I think I really ready to look at both of them. I think both of them going to have Bland and Jordan Lewis gonna have their hands full. But I really think that they can, with their overall skill set. I think they're gonna be all right. I think they're gonna be fine. But yeah, I think the pressure will still be more on Bland than it will be Jordan Lewis.
You think so?
Yeah, because I feel like with with Diggs being out, I can see them attacking his side more, trying to test him versus more they trying to slot. I just think they're gonna attack Jordan Lewis. I mean, Bland a lot more than they would Jordan Lewis.
Got you. What's up, Reef?
What's
Yeah,
up?
D is he not depressed. He just at work. Did you hear me?
At work? I didn't know he was at work. He didn't say. He
Yeah,
said he was
yeah,
about to
yeah,
get
yeah,
drunk,
yeah.
so
He
I didn't know
called
if
me.
you
He
going
said,
to
"What's
work
up,
drunk.
bro?" And I was like, man, are you depressed? I was like, bro, you ain't in. No, I'm at work. I was like, oh, okay, my bad. I was blowing your phone up. I thought you was free. Uh, so you believe Bland more so, but you're completely confident. This doesn't change your confidence at all about Super Bowl.
I'm confident. I'm confident in the whole team. I even think if they're going to play the 49ers this weekend, I still think the Cowboys will beat the 49ers this weekend.
Okay, all right, I got you. Yeah,
I do. I really
that's
do. I really do. I do.
no, I'm with you. I think it's all on the pass rush. I think the pass rush has always
Mm-hmm.
been key. I've always talked about that. The corners just have to do their job. The only thing right
Right.
now is about depth purposes. But as we've seen,
Absolutely.
Mike McCarthy has shown us time and time again. We may worry about a particular player. Mike is like he plugging guys in and moving it on. He did it with the left guard for 2 weeks in a row. Didn't miss it with a beat. Cooper Rush didn't miss it with a beat. Rico hasn't missed it with a beat. So yeah, I think it's a huge blow, but I don't think it's like if we would have lost Michael Parsons. That's a
Right.
significant blow.
Well, let me ask you
You
this:
have
how long will it be? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead. What's up?
Well, how long will it be before Wright comes back? Because I know he's on he's on IR, right?
He on
He's
the
still
short IR. That's
yeah
4
4 weeks.
weeks, if I'm not
So
mistaken. 4
after
weeks, right?
New England, he could be activated.
Okay.
Yeah, and
See, he was looking
I thought
pretty
he was
well too.
actually having a good camp. I thought he was having a pretty good camp. I thought it was actually
He
his best
was.
camp. Yeah, I thought he was playing
Mm-hmm.
having his really best camp.
And something to
Uh,
note too, during training camp, when Trevon Diggs was dealing with that ankle injury, he was starting.
yeah,
He
that's
sure
That
one
might
was.
have
thing.
been, but that might have been because of Jay Lou too. Jay Lou didn't have a camp really, so
No,
I don't.
I actually thought that's the reason why they traded Calvin Johnson because he's playing that boundary position. I know Jay Luke can play outside, but they usually look at him as a slot guy, like a slot
Right.
corner. Uh, so yeah, I thought he took and he was matching up against Cooks that time. I mean, he got some limitations, but he's competitive, willing tackler, got length. He just got to do his job with this pass rush. That's all he got to do. Just yeah, it's gonna be tough. He cannot replace Diggs, but he just got to do his job. That's all he got to do. He just got to do his job. So to me, this doesn't change anything. It's still Super Bowl or bust as far as I'm concerned. But you
Right.
just joined in on the party, Reef. Does this change your confidence about Super Bowl aspirations and who? I don't want to say who replaces Diggs in the secondary, but who
Mhm.
role becomes much more bigger.
Well, in terms of like Super Bowl aspirations, no. If I'm not correct, like I said in the chat, Diamador Lenore and Tre'Davious Ward were San Francisco's starting corners. So if you can get to the NFC Championship game with them, I think you can get to the NFC Championship game with Bland and
There you go.
Stephon Gilmore on the other side. If you know what I mean, like if the front just holds up to itself. In
Yep.
terms of just like my expectations, I thought this would have been a historic defense. Um, Now not so much because just you know what I mean, just because of the talent level and stuff like that. But it's a drop off, but not as a huge drop off per se.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Bland can play. Um, he he's not Trayvon Diggs, but he's still a ball hawk in and of himself. It's not like he can't make plays or he can't get you the picks that you need or the turnovers that per se that you need.
Right.
And he's good enough to where like he's good enough to where he should be comfortable against number twos specifically. I just the whole thing was like having the two elite corners was like a neutralizer to where like if when we play Philly, there's nothing to attack per se. Like you know what I mean? Like we neutralize what they had offensively, like which is their skill positions because we got those two elite corners. Um, Even like with San Fran with Ayuk and Debo, you neutralize them with. We just would have matched up a lot better against like the top teams in our conference, I believe, or the teams we'll play later in our schedule. So In terms of just Super Bowl aspirations, like we're still good enough to get to the Super Bowl and win the conference. Just more so like the level of what I would have expected this defense to end at, like on a historic level, is probably
Yeah, I agree.
not gonna happen, which is fine. You could still win.
I agree. Oh, we got Dink on the road.
What's up, man?
About to pop up in. Go ahead, finish up, Reef. Keep on talking. They just bring it back in because we lost both of them. They on the road. They die hard Cowboys fans. Huh? I can't hear you. You can't hear me? Hold up. Wait a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hold up. You can hear me, Dink, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, loud and clear.
Can you hear me, King?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, then it's on Reef part. Since we got Dink driving, jump on in, Dink. How do you feel about what went down? What was your first reaction about when you heard about the Trevon Diggs injury?
Man, my damn heart dropped. I said, "What the fuck?" But then after a shot of whiskey, I can't sense it, man. And that whiskey brought some clarity to me. I recognize that our defensive line can mask. It can mask our secondary, and we got Bland. We still got Gilmore, and then we got Jordan Lewis. So all is not lost. It's gonna hurt, but I still think we still gonna be a dominant defense, man. So
absolutely.
So I feel good on the fact that we got a dominant defensive line, man. So I think that's gonna help us, and we still got a good secondary. So, but yeah, initially, man, I was sick, man. I was like, what the fuck, man? And then I wanted to slap Stephen A. Smith because he's always saying, just wait, something's gonna happen to the Cowboys, man. So I wanted to slap his.
The thing about that, Dink, is like that happens to 31 teams in the NFL every year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and
so that argument he made is stupid. It's just for ratings.
Yeah, I know. And I'm glad you said that, Reef. Because really, the equalizer in sports, especially football, which is a contact sport, is injuries. And if you can, get lucky with that, you got a good chance in it, man. But after the initial shock, man, I feel good. We still gonna be all right. It could have been worse. Could have been some, Parsons or somebody like that, man. So
yeah, that's what I've been saying. Yeah, because I think he's the key to the defense. I mean, I don't want anybody to get injured, but if he goes,
exactly.
He's harder. He would be harder to replace.
Yeah,
there's nobody like. I can't think of anybody else close to him that's on Dallas or any team.
It would be a wrap.
Yeah,
it would be super difficult. Like, and I know this player is not on our team. The second best pass rush we had at the time when they were teammates was Randy Gregory, but he never did double-digit sacks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we don't know whether he gonna get injured or it's gonna be some other issues or anything like that. We see it from Micah. So he's the dude that I'm just like everything is major with him. And probably the third person, and he doesn't do stat wise. I think Jonathan Hankins is like super important. Like just with the run, he's like so important. I mean, I love Mozzie, but still technique wise, he ain't there. But I do believe he will be there eventually, and I think it will be this season as far as his role, as far as what he wants to do. But yeah, big one. Reef was talking. I'm gonna piggyback because I'm gonna get back to Reef because I know you're on the road here to a show. Who do you think fills the void, or how they go about filling the void, or who has more responsibility now that Trevon is down? Okay. You have any of who you think will I know no one can replace him, Or do they just stay and just continue to do what they need to do and not worry about trying to replace him? Because King mentioned that. Just play football. Don't try to like be more than who you are.
I think Bland gonna step up even more, man. I think that guy is just gonna be incredible. I think he's gonna replace what Trevon did to some degree, man, and also give us the opportunity to see what the young guys can do. But I can also see later on down the road the Cowboys trading for a cornerback, man, because I'm of the opinion when you got a dominant defense like that, you make it even stronger later on down the road, so you can win that Super Bowl. So I could see them making that move down the road because there's a lot of teams that's gonna be getting rid of a lot of players. Minnesota's not gonna be doing anything. St. Louis not gonna be doing anything. I mean, not St. Louis. Arizona Cardinals not gonna be doing anything. So later on down the road, man, I could see us making them.
I don't know if either one of them teams
trying to get
anybody that's solid though.
Yeah, if there's a team.
Well, I just threw them. Yeah.
Okay, I get you what you're saying.
I was
just throwing out.
There's a team.
Sorry, teams. That's
my
Gotcha.
bad, Dean.
No, go ahead.
No, you good.
No, I was just saying if there's a team. I was thinking about it, John, after we had like a phone conversation earlier. If there's a team that is looking to maybe unload, look at this. The Los Angeles Chargers. They do have J.C. Jackson. He do make a little bit of money, but the way that defense is playing as a whole and as a unit, depending on like when the trade deadlines come, they might be looking to unload some things. I don't think we would do that. It depends on what they would ask for them, obviously. But that's just a name. Like if we could get, like I think that would help. But I don't think it would be like viable because of his contract he just got. So, but that is a name that I feel like they will be trying to unload because I feel like in a little bit, like if the Chargers don't start winning some games that they paid a lot of money for that defense, they're going to start unloading some of those pieces or looking to get rid of some of those pieces. So.
Did he just get an extension?
I think he got it like 2 or 3 years ago. So he might be he's definitely on the back end of his deal. And he's still a good corner. I just think as like a unit, like they're still flawed. I don't think they're coached very well either.
Oh, I agree. I don't think they coach very well at all.
And J.C. Jackson is like a number one type corner. So I don't think it'll get to that point where we desperately need like to get somebody. But if it gets to that point, like there'll be players on the market. So I agree with Dink on that.
Yeah. I see it, but
we just don't got no picks.
Yeah. How this team is, I think they're gonna go in-house though.
And then plus the next 3 games, I'm thinking if the defense still playing stellar defense, kicking everybody's ass and kicking them in the mouth, I don't see them making a move no way.
Yeah, I don't. It's just something about the way they do business. I don't see them doing that. I think the move they made is that number one pick from Miami. I don't think he's lived up to that billing, but I think that's a guy that will be on their depth chart. And Eric Scott. I think Eric Scott, that other corner, they're just gonna get a lot more reps.
And also maybe why we ain't get said like Jane Slater said no to Anthony.
We lost him.
We lost him. He'll be back. We lost him. He'll be back. And I don't think they're gonna sign Anthony Brown either. That's just not viable. They're gonna go with the young players they have, or as King always called them, the young goons. They're gonna go.
That's right.
They're gonna go with them young players, and they're gonna let them young players play. Just like when they
What's up, King?
Yeah. What's up, Ding? What's up, man? What's going on with it, man? You finna go do that show?
Yeah, man, I'm going through this fundraiser, man. Yeah, on the south side of Durham, North Carolina, over here in the hood.
Okay, man, that's what they do. That's what's up.
Yeah.
My bad.
There you go.
But,
I hadn't seen King in a minute, so I had to holler at him. I hadn't seen him in a minute.
Yeah, man, I've been working like a dog, man. Been working like a dog.
He be doing this, man. He be on the road with his wife, man. This dude be traveling. Yeah, they be traveling in these trucks across country. He going down to Dallas. Well, he's going down to Texas. He's going down.
Down to Texas.
Oh, so is it like is it just like y'all in the RV type of thing, or is it just for like?
No. It's an 18-wheeler. Yeah, we drive big 18-wheelers.
His wife be
Yeah, she got it made. She got the daylight driving. I get all the night driving. So she got it made. I got it rough.
They've been doing it. How long y'all been doing this? You said 14 years? They've been doing this.
Going on 15 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he found
that's what's up, man. Yeah, my brother's a truck driver. Yeah, he's a truck driver. Long distance truck driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all be making that. Y'all be making that money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make a little bit. Make a little bit.
Wait a minute, a little bit. Did y'all buy 3-5 properties lately or something like that?
No.
You got some stock. You got some stock in the arena team.
That sounds like a lot of bits.
Did you see his his avatar for his picture, man? He doing Black Enterprises spreads and shit. He being modest, man. He got like an enterprise spread, but we don't put no business out there. And I'm glad you ain't got your Twitter handle, so we ain't got out there trying to get drafted because they gonna see this stream.
I got you.
Every time you do a video, you end up getting like 80 new followers, man. All the time. All the time. All right, so with that being said, everybody's confident. Nobody's changed with any Super Bowl aspirations.
Nah.
We're very confident with Blaine being in there, Jordan Lewis doing his thing.
Right.
Yep.
I heard about the Tyler Biotish. Has there been any reports about? I heard it was a hamstring, but now they're saying he's fine. Hopefully,
okay, that's good.
I just hope for the rest of the damn year we ain't got no injuries.
I'm telling you.
Man, I don't know what the hell's going on with these players, man. They get hurt in practice, not games. They get hurt in practice.
Yeah, because usually right about now, everything is supposed to be light. You supposed to, the intensity is supposed to lighten up right now.
Lighten up, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what.
And that's my point. That's my point. We are coming clean out of football games. We are coming out of football games with no injury. But in the midweek of practice, why is people coming up with hamstring injuries? Why are we running full one-on-ones?
Yeah, I have no
like
idea.
that is not something that is common on. Like I feel like since high school, like I played a little bit of college football. We did one-on-one drills outside of camp, maybe like once, maybe like twice the rest of the year. Because you just want to keep.
I don't know, man. You know what? And I hate saying this because I don't want to blame a particular player. I be wondering if this is the Michael Parsons effect.
Oh, like he'd be like, "Oh yeah, we got to be juiced up."
Yeah,
everything.
Did you see
like,
the clip where he's doing a practice? It's a non-contact drill. He just blasted. He blasted his own teammate. Got a fumble, ran off. I mean, I've heard he does. I heard he does 3 to 4 days. And so I'm just wondering. I don't want to say it's him, but I know he's a little ratchet up. Like he's way ratchet up.
My thing is like,
hey, fellas, I gotta check out, but
no, I'm glad you dropped in.
Yeah,
I'm glad you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. And John, I'll hit you up later on tonight. And Reef, I still gotta hit you up, man, so we can talk, man.
No, I know you busy, man. I appreciate it.
If you up tonight, I'll hit you up.
He gonna hit you.
I'll hit you up, man. Okay. All right, King, y'all take care, man.
All right, thanks for dropping in, Dink.
All right, Dink, be careful, man. Have a good one.
Nah, but like in general, like so, like my coach is, like I said, my college coach is Nick Sirianni's brother. So I know for a fact, like they like even for me, like watching the offense, we ran the same exact offense as the Eagles did in college because he would be on the phone with him, especially when he was at the Colts before with Frank Reich. Like he would be on the phone with him, he would get plays from him, stuff like that. So I can imagine they run something similar, like a similar type of practice. There's a reason why like Philly was it. I mean, there is some luck that goes into it, obviously, but like there's a reason why they were healthy the entire year. Like it should be you should just be doing like glorified walkthroughs, like nothing crazy, nothing like full speed, full tilt. You know what you're gonna get out of these players. Like they already like it's not even a 6-day turnaround. Most times it's a 5-day turnaround because they get the Monday off.
Right.
So there's no need to be going full speed and doing all this extra stuff and doing all like To me, there's just no need for it.
I agree. And this isn't the 90s anymore where your body was conditioned for that.
Right, like you're used to doing 2-a-day practices during the season, or you like the NFL get away with that.
Right, your body's used to it, and if they're doing that right now, because it's just shocking some of the injuries, and this isn't like it's even when you think about some of the guys who didn't make the rosters or whatever, the injuries that they were suffering, like with Stevenson, Overshaw, Dave, it was like
ligament and soft tissue.
Yeah, and so that means they really going full tilt. That's the impression that I will get. I get they want that intensity level. I hope we're able to survive the season without all these injuries, because that could be our undoing more so than our opponent. Because I know it's early, but they look like they're a different level compared to a lot of the other teams. And the only two teams they may have to worry about in the NFC East is Philly and the 49ers. But they may not be at full strength to deal with either of these injuries. So that's a problem. But we'll see how.
And then probably maybe them getting bullied for so many years. Maybe they feel like they want to, like you said, keep the intensity level up. Just like the 49ers, now they supposed to be the bullies of the NFC. Now I get the Cowboys want to be one of the bullies as well.
No, they do seem like that, because the one thing we talked about last week, the majority of us, we wanted to see how they were going to play. Because you know how last year we'd win a big game and calm down. They played full tilt against it. When the Jets were kind of choked out, they still didn't let their foot off of them. So, yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I think they want to really be like, we're going to be bullies, because they kept saying it. They were like, well, if we up by 30, we want to choke them out. We want to prove that nobody can play with us. So they do seem like they at a real – but I agree with you too, Reek. As the head coach, you gotta learn how to temper it. Like, all right, I get it.
Right.
We got a 7 day even added a game on the regular season. We trying to have the ball for January.
We got a long marathon. Let's get to the marathon. Right. So I hope we can dial it back and see how things go, because we don't need no more injuries. We don't need no more soft tissue.
No, not right now. They don't.
Right, but I do like that they are taking up that bully persona, because they do come off like the impression they want to be straight up bullies, just defensively, offensively. So we're definitely going to see what happens with that. So with that,
let me ask Reef a question. With Bland taking over Diggs spot, do you see them picking on Bland a lot more now since he's going to be on the outside?
He's gonna get naturally, like, you're not going. I don't think like you're going to, like, if you're going to test a corner, like, you're not going to test Gilmore. He's too savvy. Like, even though he might have lost a step athletically, he's just too savvy and route concept wise, and he still can play the ball real well. You're going to test the young gun. Like, it's just, that's what's going to happen. I believe, though, like, he's going to give up some stuff. So, like, you're not going to see, like, a total lockdown. Like Diggs had a 1 passer rating. Like, he wasn't giving up nothing. But also, like you guys were mentioning, like, the pass rush do help that, where they can't even get the ball off. So, Bland will give, like, especially when we start to play, like, get through the stretch. Like, we got the Niners, Chargers, and then Philly, like, 3 straight games. Like week 5 to 8 or 5 to 7, I should say. So you'll see when the teams start having, like, a deeper receivers and deeper receiver tree, he's gonna get thrown out a lot. He might give up some stuff, but he will also make a lot of plays, as he shown last year, as he is still a ball hawk. And he has a nose for the football. So, like, you give and you take. Like I said, I don't know. Philly's corners were good last year, but I couldn't tell you. I think the Chiefs corners were, like, average. The Bengals got to the Super Bowl with Eli Apple as their number 1 corner, and they had Chidobe.
Yeah.
So if you can get to the Super Bowl with Chidobe, and I know they got there because they had an explosive offense and stuff, but if you can get there, like, and their starting corners have Chidobe Awuzie and Eli Apple, or like I said, the Mamador Lenore and Tre'Davious Ward, and the Niners were still the number 1 defense, like, we'll be all right.
Yeah, and it's not like this is 2021 where we would have lost Diggs, we would have had hell, I don't know who was backing him up.
Exactly. Like that's why you go out and get a Gilmore, because just you have somebody.
And I think all 3 corners we named are better than Anthony Brown, even though I've defended Anthony Brown for years. I just think they're all much better than he is. And Gilmore has been a number 1, so he's just gonna slide to be a number 1 again. And I think Bland is more than capable of being a 2.
And they had actually, like, to be honest, like Diggs was playing the boundary a lot, so he was playing the right side. So he was pretty much. I mean, he wouldn't really get thrown at anyway. Like there were more passes were thrown at Gilmore, so I don't even think Gilmore even has to really move. He just obviously he slides into the number 1 spot, but like in terms of just being the field corner, he can still stay out there. That's who's going to get the most balls anyway.
Right.
It's harder to throw into the boundary for obvious reason than it is the field, just more spacing wise. So that should help Bland as well.
But so with being that said, do you think teams will try to attack Jordan Lewis instead?
Yeah, but also you gotta remember too, like it's not like we don't have safeties playing linebacker. So
that's right.
If you do attack the middle of the field, like we got athletic guys too. So like
unless he has to rely on Malik Hooker.
Yeah. I don't think if Hooker keeps playing the way, well, I ain't gonna say he's been playing bad, but like if he keeps showing like chinks in his armor.
Yeah, he's just been a step late.
We got players that we got players.
No, safeties are fine. Israel will be another guy that's fine. Yeah, I don't think it's all over with. I'm glad that D is not depressed. Because I thought he just wasn't answering the phone. I was like, man, what is up with you? But it's all good. It's all good.
Then, you can always insert your boy Wanye in there too, though. You got your nephew Wanye Thomas. You like him.
If Wanye can play free, if absolutely necessary.
Yep, Wanye can play. Nashawn Wright coming back will be fine. So it's not the end of the world. It's just we're here to let everybody know nothing has changed. I still think they're a Super Bowl caliber team. Nothing has changed at all. No more pressure on offense. They just got to do what they do. But here's a sidebar. By the time we meet the 49ers, do you believe we're 4-0?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. No doubt. And then I think by the time we play the 49ers, I think our offense will be clicking too.
I agree. Because I thought last week they showed improvement, but I think they could still be even better than what they were.
It's about the offense?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
they still look like.
Oh, yeah, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come with that offense.
Yeah. A lot of improvement, like from like and I know like the weather has something to do with it, but like the offense still has like they're leaving a lot on the field still, and we got the most. Like there was a funny stat I found. Like we lead the league in 7+ play drives. So we, regardless of if we scoring or not, we're taking up time.
Yeah, and that's what McCarthy talked about too in offseason. He said he want to officially run the ball, but he can rest his defense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're averaging 42 points a game, 42 minutes as opposed to the other team like 15, 17 and 18, they're gonna wear it out. So and for them to drop 30 on a top 5 defense, and we complaining because they didn't get more touchdowns. Yeah, I get it. It should have been 40. It's surprising. I thought I would have never said that because that Jets defense is legit. I don't know.
And they got the same kind of defense as the 49ers too. That's why I'm just not really. For some reason, I'm just not afraid of the 49ers this year. For some reason, I'm just not.
I would say the Niners front 7 is a lot better, but the Jets secondary is a lot better. So the fact that Dak played well against that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
The matchup would be is like basically can the O-line block that front 7, and what do you do running the ball against the linebackers the Niners got, because they're CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams in really good tandem.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw play. They sniff quick and they sniff fast.
And do you think, I'm gonna ask you this, would you run or would you use to attack them in spacing?
I mean,
See, because hear me out.
I don't think like whereas like with Fred Warner, like they're fast. They could run. They can get there.
No.
So I mean, like,
this is what I mean by that. My offensive coordinator in high school, he used to always emphasize it. I still talk to him. He was like, a lot of people run routes at times, and they assume you're running routes to get to particular areas. He always talks about you run routes to clear space. You attack space. You're not always attacking an area with a route. And what I mean by this is the one thing I noticed, Fred, and you're right, they are quick. The one thing Fred does a lot, we put CD in a slot, he's on that. But if you go back and look at the last 2 games,
yeah, they don't really sub. They don't sub. They true 3 down.
Right. He vacates a lot of space, but we never attack the space that he emptied. And so for me, I will really look. It was a play that we did with Rico Gathers, and it was a play with Deuce. So if it's me, I'm using CD in a slot, vacate that space with Fred Warner, because those linebackers love to drop back. And I'm dinking and donking under until everybody starts to come up. Then I'm going to try to take my shots.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed rather than running like a lot of zone concepts too, like inside zone, outside zone concepts.
Right.
Run power. Run right at them.
I agree. Because he's not the biggest linebacker.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's athletic and he's very, very talented. He's super instinctive, but he's not the biggest.
Yeah,
you know what? It's interesting you said that, because I will say this. I think the Jets' interior on their defense, I don't think the Niners has anybody like Williams. But on the same token, I don't think the Jets have anybody like Nick Bosa.
Yeah, they're good.
Right.
That interior is still, because they got they got Hargrave. They got Hargrave from Philly.
Hargraves is I like Hargraves.
He's more of a pass rusher than a run guy,
but Williams, I just think is a bigger. He's a load.
Yeah,
he's a load. But overall, yeah, I think the Niners overall defensive line is better. But I just look at kind of like the differences between how they are, and I will have a better gauge if I can get Tyler Smith back.
Right, you got to see.
That would be a much more better gauge, because that's a different animal.
Hopefully, Tyler Biadasz is not out too long with the hammy too.
Right. Because that'll be completely different. Because then because you're right. If I have Tyler in, I'm gonna run straight up. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna try to beat him up, run them down, and wear them out. But I look forward to seeing that game. I know it's 3 weeks from now, but that's the game I got circled on my calendar. I shouldn't be overpassing baby Arizona and New England, but unfortunately, as a fan, I am. I'm going like one game at a time, but I'm looking forward to that 49.
The New England game will be interesting because, like, that still is that defense is legit still. Like, that Bill Belichick can still scheme up. So, like, it'll be interesting to see. It would be more so like a Mike McCarthy that game rather than a defensive game. If that makes sense.
But the problem I think they're gonna have is that Matt Jones he's not gonna sustain anything, and I think that defense is gonna be out there too long. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Jets. Like,
I will say, Mac Jones been playing really well, like the past 2 games. Like
at backgammon.
No. Just that, like, just he looks a lot better than what he. I mean, he had Matt Patricia calling plays for him last year.
Right.
I think Bill O'Brien, like being he an Alabama guy, being like he's already comfortable with Bill Belichick. That helped them a lot. They just don't got no weapons on the outside.
And that's why
their tight ends are a problem though. Like Hunter Henry and Gesicki, like they're legit. So, I mean, it depends. Like we have the personnel to like match up with them, like with the tight end wise. But outside, they don't have anybody he can really count on.
Well, not only that, I don't think New England's offensive line is that good.
Nah, they have a good center, but that's it. They got big Trey Brown as they tackled, and
he had a struggle last week.
Yeah,
like, big time.
I think New England gonna get. I think Matt Jones gonna get smothered.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think gonna get smothered.
I think he's gonna have a hard time. They're
gonna like I said, it's gonna be more of like we're gonna really see like what Mike McCarthy play calling is. So you can out scheme Bill Belichick, you can out scheme about anybody in this league with no problem.
Got that right. You got that right.
You go back and look at his record against Belichick. He has a good record against him. It's not dominant, but he's had success against him.
Yeah, definitely. So
he has success against him. It'd be interesting, but I just think I do like the Patriots defense, but I think that they don't have nothing on that offense.
Nah, nothing that we should be worried about. They can't even run the ball. Like they average 3 yards a carry. So.
They can't run the ball. They don't have no outside threats. I do agree with you. I do like they tight ends. They can't block. That should be very. I think the Cardinals may be a different challenge as far as some of the running things that they do. That should be a good challenge, but I think we're gonna choke their ass out too. Like I was very impressed with this defense, and I've been impressed with the offense based on the 2 defenses they just played, which I don't think is as good as the 49ers. But still, I wouldn't have seen us doing that. And that Jets one was more impressive because it wasn't bad weather, how much time they consumed on the clock, and how they kind of dealt with their weapons. But still going to have to be more on his game. He's going to have to be more locked on his game. But I think they'll make the proper adjustments for that.
You know, I'm more looking forward. I'm more thinking the Cardinals will challenge them better than the Patriots will, because like I said, I really want to see this defense against a real running quarterback, one that just run all over the place. I really want to see Dan Quinn's defense against a running quarterback. That's what I've been waiting to see for years. That's what I want to see.
I feel like Daniel Jones is a running quarterback, like essentially.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we shown like what we can do against that type of quarterback. I would say like more so like Jalen Hurts is what I want to see. Like I want to see how we look against Jalen Hurts, because he was like most of the time like in our games against him, like in the past, like I know we only seen him one time, but in that game last year, like the Week 5 game, like he didn't do nothing passing the ball wise. Like it was more so he was killing us on 3rd down, just breaking the pocket after his first read. And
right.
There's really nothing we can really do about that. But even then, we still held stout against them. Like they always see had their success, but
I think they're gonna light him up. I mean, I know that Philly game is a while back, but if they continue to play with the speed that they have, because we don't have no Anthony Brooks on the team, the push in the middle, he can't step up in the middle. It's too bad we lost Overshawn, but Clark is fast, Bell is fast, Thomas. It just depends on what they're gonna decide to do. But yeah. I'm still excited about this season. Nothing has gone down. Trevon gonna be healthy. We'll see him next year. Yeah. So I think everybody should calm down. It's a major blow, but it's not the end of the world, and it's not the end of the season. So we shouldn't give up the season because of this.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. So I know, Ken, you haven't been with us in a couple of weeks. So I asked you the question: how have you liked the play calling and how the offense?
Well, when we got closer to the red zone, I kind of felt we should have had a little bit more play action down when we were like in scoring range. I would like to see a little bit more play action. But overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, like I said before, I kind of felt I was gonna give them to like Week 5 before I felt that they were gonna really get in a groove. So right now, I think they're doing fine. You know, they were close to the like scoring zone, real like close to the red zone. I just really seen, like a little bit more play action.
Do you like the overall play calling more as opposed to what we've dealt with in the past?
Oh, absolutely. I'd probably been losing my mind if I saw anything similar to what we had in the past. You'd probably been seeing me going berserk.
That is true.
And I think something off of that, like more so like it's not like Kellen Moore couldn't call plays, but his situational play calling was shit. Like
well, and that, you know what? I think he designed.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Plays, but I don't know what is his scheme and what's his offense.
I want to say it's like I don't know. I can't really.
And that's the thing. Usually, I've always looked at it as like great offenses always play chess, or they have things they can rely on. And the things I used to see with him is like you and Willie nearly got added to it, but it wasn't no major because you was absolutely right. You said attack the corner when we was gonna play against the Jets. Stay away from the linebackers, attack the corners. So Willie being an ex-corner, well, he was in the position he never started. My bad, Willie. So you can't attack them. But that was actually the thing that you should do. And instead of attacking Sauce on the regular, we attack the other corner, who's a good corner, but he's not Sauce.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore would never go towards a weakness. And if he found one on the field, he had a play, he would stay away from it. It's like that Jacksonville game last year where I think Tony Pollard had a wheel route. We had a wheel route earlier in the year against Minnesota. And so I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, we're going to run a real route against that pass rush.
And then even then, like in that same, my bad to cut you off, John, in that same game, Hendershot got on the one-on-one with Josh Allen on the wheel route because they don't sub and they got to, and he got to go.
And I was just about to say that. So Hendershot is successful with a wheel route on him. I said, okay, so what you need to do is continue to do that because then you take that guy out as a pass rush. And so eventually they'd have to do one or two things. They either have to shift the safety over there to give him support and help. And then when you do that, you go to the area with the safety. But Kellen it never seemed like he had a game plan. He just had a lot of great plays that he would
even with like the Chargers game, like they've been scoring, they've been moving the ball, but like that overtime that series they had, Herbert took 3 deep shots, 3 incompletions, done, went right down the field and scored on the game. Like no balance, no nothing.
And that's the same thing we used to see in Dallas all the time. The same thing we would see in Dallas. And I don't see that right now. I also believe they're calculatedly aggressive as opposed to just being aggressive.
Just to be
right. It seems very calculated. Some of the things, like you said, in the mesh routes, all of the stuff I'm seeing, I'm like, yeah, this is stuff that's already in there. And for people who don't know, I'm like, everybody kind of do these concepts. We just never did them. We never had them in place. This is just one on rub routes. I'm like, oh my God, we actually manufacturing offense as opposed to trying to beat everybody as, we're better than you are. So that's the thing that was interesting to me. How do you guys feel? Yeah, go ahead, King.
Not just I think that this go around, the offense will have more of an identity. If anything, I just did with Kelly Moore. I just didn't think that they just didn't have an identity. I just never saw it.
I agree. I had no idea what that. And another thing, every offensive player has a role. It's not like in the past when we were putting Noah Brown out there and we're like, he's just gonna block, or we put Turbin. Okay, it's an end around, but every guy has to be accounted for. It's like they literally have to account for every offensive player on it. Every guy has a role. It may not be a big role, but it's like if you're blocking, you're actually going to catch or you're going to carry. You're going to be somebody that's effective and make the defense have to be accountable for everybody that's on the field, as opposed to tipping things off when you put certain guys in and you're only running them in gadgets.
Right, or putting fucking Conor McGovern at fullback offset, and then you're like, oh, well, you're running it right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just like tipping it off. Unless your talent is so elite, like we had Larry Allen, that you can do that and say, hey, this is what we're running. But I like what's going on. So those things are reassuring. So how I know it's only 2 weeks in a row. Is Mike McCarthy off the hot seat, or was he ever on the hot seat?
I think this year. I don't think he's on the hot seat right now. But if they one and done, he's on the hot seat.
You think he is?
I think so because I'm looking at all that they have invested to try to put him in a win-out situation.
Okay, so that's what you think would happen in Dallas, or is that how you also feel if he was running the team?
Now, honestly, if it was me. If we were one and done in a player, I wouldn't get rid of him because I like what he's doing. I mean, I like his everything he has brought. I feel like the team has turned around in a major way since he's been here. But I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I just feel like for some odd reason that Jerry might just change his tune if they won and done. I just really believe that. Because look how when last time have they ever went so aggressive on doing the offseason to try to put them in position to win, going to get players to win now? When last time I just see them right. So that's what I'm saying. I just think that
the last time I remember them kind of doing something like that, I think that was the 2007 and 2018.
Yeah, when we got T.O.
Pac-Man,
the year before.
T.O. I forgot the player. He was a defensive tackle from Chicago. He played with Tommy Harris, but his name escapes me at the time.
It wasn't Tommy Harris.
It wasn't Adonijah. It was fuck. It was
Yeah, I can't remember his name offhand, but he was the problem only with those guys were they were talented, but they were all kind of misfits. Like a lot of them were misfits. They were really good football players, but they wasn't like Cooks or Gilmore. So that's the last time I remember them doing that. But even when they did that, they didn't do it like they did this year. Like we actually, I think we just stole Gilmore and Cook for nothing. Like that was, you gave up 6-round picks for guys who are starters. So, but you know what? I agree with you on that. But I think even if it's one and done, I don't think he gets rid of McCarthy. And that's only because he kept Jason Garrett for what looked like a damn decade.
I hope not.
That's different though. That's his golden boy. That was his golden boy. He probably saw that Thanksgiving game in '94 or '93 it was, bro. And lost
he was around there.
And lost his shit when he won that starter. Then you got a chance to get him as an OC. Because we would have lost him after like I was young when this happened, but I do remember like after the 07 season and like Romo had his like best year or whatever when I started, he was gonna go to Baltimore and we made him the highest paid OC in the league.
Yeah, I hated that move.
Yeah,
I hated that move. I wanted him to go, like, because I think you need a long apprenticeship before you're a head coach. I don't buy into you being an ex-player, position coach, and then suddenly you're a head coach in 3 years. You really need to know every aspect of football to me to be a successful head coach. Or you need to be a young coach and you're surrounded by former head coaches who are outstanding coordinators. And so they didn't do it either way. Like when we had Bill Callahan and Wade Phillips at different times, I was like, okay, if Bill is your OC and Wade is your defensive coordinator, maybe that can work for Jason because both of them are ex-head coaches, but they also outstanding coordinators and learn. But he brought in guys where I was just like, I like Rod, but Rod is indifferent as far as being a DC guy. And
he a D-line, he a pure D-line guy.
Yeah, that's what he loves. He just a
pure D-line coach, yeah.
Wade Phillips, I do not think is a great head coach, but I think he's an outstanding defensive coordinator.
And then he got him that's what McVay did. McVay said, I got the offense. Worry about the defense.
Exactly. And I think
got Wade.
With Bill Callahan, at the time I told him, I was like, that dude is the best offense. I still think he's the best offensive line coach in football. Like,
and then that's another reason why I'm sorry, my bad.
No, okay, you can cut me off.
Well, and that's literally why I think Jerry might not let him go either, because I think Dan Quinn loves Mike McCarthy. I think they like each other too, and they work well together too. So you have to kind of look at it from that standpoint too. Now I'm not sure if Dan Quinn is still looking for a head coaching job or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying.
Do you guys think he is?
I think after this year, reasonably speaking, like I'm just thinking about like the teams that would need somebody like him. Like I wouldn't be surprised, like just because he's a player coach, like players love to play with him. Like, and I know that's more so like a coordinator type of thing. But if he can get around, like it can get him like a good, like with Atlanta, like that situation in Atlanta, it wasn't like Atlanta was not successful. Got him.
Well, the problem he had in Atlanta though was the acquisition of talent and dealing with an owner, a Mellis owner. And so I just think I always think if you go somewhere where the owner leaves you alone and you also have someone who brings in you talent as a head coach, you can thrive.
I wouldn't be surprised because I think Brandon Staley's gone. Don't be surprised if the Chargers try to go and get him.
Do you think he would want to go there?
I don't think with all the talent they have on that defense, I would. That's not a bad gig. It's not like they're not talented defensively. I think it's just Brandon Staley scheme wise is just not.
Oh, I think Brandon Staley is a mediocre head coach at best. Yeah. But I don't know if that's an ideal situation. Where's their quarterback at?
Who, Justin?
Yeah. I forgot. Did he sign an extension?
Who, Herbert?
Yeah.
I think he did, didn't he? Did he get an extension?
He did.
Okay. I haven't been following their drafts. How they been drafting wise?
They got Slater. So they got the franchise left tackle. They drafted Kenneth Murray a couple years ago.
But class wise.
Yeah, it's
that's the thing.
Middling.
It's just because I always thought one thing. I always thought Will McClay was very good at finding talent. I thought the big problem Dallas had was the head coach. Like as far as his allegiance towards his offensive coordinator, whether or not he can get them going. I thought when McCarthy would come here, the one thing he would have over Green Bay, he would have a place to get his talent, and he would have more control. So I do wonder if Dan. I believe that he does want to be a head coach, but I'm also looking at it you mean he ain't found a job in 3 years?
Maybe might not be the right job though.
Coordinator in the league,
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, King. It's always the right job, and it's do you want?
I would have to say, he can't be more than 45.
Damn, he look old as hell.
Yeah, I thought Dan Quinn might have been in his 50s or something, maybe early 50s. He might be. I'm not sure he might be.
Look old, man. That motherfucker look old as hell. He's old 45. He's 45.
Yeah, I'm about to look into that one though. I'm about to look into that one with the Dan Quinn. But you know what? I think with Dan Quinn, we just gonna really have to wait and see how the NFL season play out because the season can do some weird turnarounds.
How old is he, Reef?
53.
Okay.
He still look old as hell because I'm older than him. He look older than me. He look like 10 years older than me.
Well, football can't stretch out though.
You know what? That is true because I remember how old Bill Parcells looked, bro.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's 71 years old. He don't look like he's about to stop coaching anytime soon.
Yeah, Pete is a lifer though. He a lifer.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Dan Quinn thing is interesting because I don't know if I think he wants to be a head coach, but I don't know. Something tells me he may decide on being a coordinator.
Now, if something happens to where like one and done, and Jerry do decide to move on, don't be surprised.
Well, here's the thing. I'll say this because I was being devil's advocate. I'm never surprised about Jerry Jones because he hired Dave Campos, Barry Switzer. I mean, Dave Campos just itself to hire him as your head coach. Wade Phillips, who was soft as a cupcake. Jason Garrett. But on the flip side, I always say, well, he stayed with Jason Garrett for 11 years. And he always seemed like he always went against the norm. So if the media says fire somebody, he doesn't do it. And when people are telling him to hire someone, then he goes the opposite direction. And you know what? As much as I love Dan Quinn, the McCarthy thing, I love Mike more as a head coach. Because like what King said, it's the culture. Like he came in, the culture.
Now, do you think defensively though, is it Mike McCarthy's culture or is it Dan Quinn's culture?
Okay.
That's defense. That's all Dan Quinn culture.
Yeah, I'm
gonna interject with this one. Okay, so this is the thing with that. I watch the Packers, those Packer teams, and I remember how those teams were, and they were this hybrid 3-4-4-ish 3 weird type of hybrid scheme. And so I remember in 2020 when he came here, he said he's going to have a hybrid scheme. I remember not King, but I remember a lot of people listen to Jalen Smith. Oh, it's too complicated. I even remember people saying, why would you have DeMarcus Lawrence standing up and put his hand in the dirt? Now, he hired Mike Nolan, and people forget Nolan actually is a good head coach, a defensive coach. You got to look at it. You got to really go through and look through his research. But the biggest thing I thought Mike Nolan did, he stayed with a bunch of old guys who couldn't play, as opposed to playing with young guys who were probably better than them. So that was the thing. So when they got rid of Mike and they brought in Dan, everybody's, the scheme is different. And I'm like, no, it's the same scheme. Like, because DeMarcus Lawrence is rushing. He ain't putting his head down. They still running this hybrid type of scheme. But this is the same scheme I saw them run with the Packers. Now the talent, I think, in Dallas is better because I think Will McClay and his scouts are better.
Well, which teams you talking about? In that Green Bay, because
no. This is the reason why. No, I think those Green Bay teams was really good. Now, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying them Green Bay teams wasn't. They were really, really good. But what I'm talking about is more like when you start to get down to the deepness of our safeties, we're better than theirs. When you start to look at the interior as far as the rotation, it's deeper than theirs. The overall speed is deeper. But those Packer teams was really talented because Michael Parsons plays the Clay Matthews role.
Yeah, he's just a different level.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everybody's just a little Al Harris, love him, but Diggs is better than Al, talent-wise, technique-wise. And then
we don't got no Charles Woodson though. I wish we did.
No, I agree. We don't have no Charles Woodson. I agree with you on that. But when you look at the other guys that they played, they didn't have a curse. They didn't have anybody of that nature. So that's the reason why I look at what he did in Green Bay. I'm looking at what Dallas is doing. It's very similar. I give all credit to Dan Quinn, but also we got to realize this. A lot of people thought Quinn was a horrible pick because they looked at what he did in Atlanta, and I was like, no, he's a good head coach. He just didn't have the same talent. I mean, you can't turn baloney and make it into steak. I don't care how or whatever it is you do. You still need
that was an offensive driven team anyway.
Exactly. But you got to realize Mike said clear out, I want to run the football if I can rest our defense, and I want to be able to get ahead to unleash it. So I think culture-wise, I have to give him all the credit, but I don't take anything from Dan because Dan came in and he's doing his thing. And if you notice also, everybody on that team is guys that other people let go other places and nobody kind of jumped on them, but it seemed that Mike knew. He knew. It's like Bones Fossil. When we got him, I kept telling everybody, I was like,
the special teams was one. We had one of the worst special teams unit in the league for like years.
Over a decade. but in 2020, we were so aggressive, like with what we were doing, and sometimes it was working, and sometimes, and I kept telling her, I was like, watch, this is gonna play out. Like it's a mindset. It's gonna play out. So I just think being a head coach is completely different than being a coordinator. I think he's an outstanding coach, but if he becomes a head coach, does he have his fingerprints on the defense as much? And here's the big factor. Can he deal with Jerry Jones?
If you could deal with Arthur Blank, you can deal with Jerry Jones.
Yeah, but the only thing is Jerry at times will do stuff like I got a coordinator that can coach my team. I got a player he wants to sign. And I just think Mike handles that better than maybe what Dan would. Just the whole situation, how Jerry made them uncomfortable about who could coach and who would be a head coach, and how Dan was willing to walk away from it, and Mike just kind of brought that back and said, "No, we good." He was like, "No, everything is good." But then you look at how things were with Jason and Bill Callahan, and that just turned horrible. And it's like you lost a really good coach because of the interference of your owner. So I think Mike McCarthy, for me, I wouldn't care if he was one and done this year. I still keep him. He would be my guy. I would ride him out. I would, if I was ownership, I would act how Pittsburgh act, because I think they're the best.
Oh yeah, only 3 head coaches in 70 years.
They don't lose faith. They didn't lose faith in Mike Tomlin. They just let him, like, all right, we'll back up. We'll let you do your thing. Let you figure this out. Now, if you lose control of the culture, then that's when I think you deserve to get fired.
But I mean, they got one of the probably got one of the best owners best owner families in the league in general.
History of football.
Yeah, the Rooney's chill out. They let you do what you do. They just keep the tail.
They stay out of it. I mean, as much as people give Robert Kraft his due, I still think he made a big mistake staying with Tommy. Like when they wanted to trade him or rumors of trading him, and he decided to keep him. Yeah, I know they got a Super Bowl, but look where they are now. They just good enough to compete, but they're not bad enough to have a high pick.
Right, they mediocre.
Right, so they mediocre. So it's like either you be aggressive in the draft, or you had to move on when you decided to move on. And right now,
they could have had Jimmy. I think Jimmy G would, and Bill wanted Jimmy G.
Yes, he did, and he wanted to trade Tom. And Robert Kraft went Jerry Jones. You can't trade Tommy, and now look where you at.
You got another Super Bowl out of it, though. So I can't be mad at
it. Yeah, that may be the last one you'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see multiple Super Bowls. Oh, that's a question, because I know there's a difference in age here. Do you want a long? Are you willing to give Are you willing to give up anything to win one?
See, I
know D got on the line. He thirsty.
It's different. It's different for me than y'all. Like y'all seen the dynasty. Y'all know.
I know that's why I want to hear from you.
Listen, if I can sell out and do just to get one with the guys we got, like, because Mike ain't going nowhere. Trevon Diggs gonna be healthy. He ain't going nowhere. We signed all these people to long-term deals. They not going nowhere. If I can like sell out some few like a draft pick or two, get a player, and we get one, I'm comfortable with that. So like we won't be like middling. We may only get one and be like, you know what I mean, for a couple years, but we got one. And so that's just more so like, because I've seen us try to, like, my thing is I'm all about like pick one. You can, I don't think, like, we've been trying to like win now, but also build the team, build for the future at the same time. And teams have just passed us by. They've got one and they'll get back, and we're still in the same position. So, like, hypothetically with Philly sold out in 2017. Guess what? They got back in 2022 before we even took us.
Yeah, but they also had, I mean, I think they had a little area of luck.
And that happens, but we've also,
because imagine this. Look, here's a scenario. Imagine if Carson Wentz decided he wanted to stay. Because really,
that wasn't his decision. They traded him.
No. He was against coming back. That's why they traded him. He was against coming back. He was not willing to come back. And so they basically said, let's wash our hands of the situation.
Okay, well, if he would have stayed, I think Jalen Hurts would have beat him out in camp.
I don't know. Because then you paying a dude $32 million, you're gonna put him on the bench?
I think you trade him then. I think you still trade him once you figure out that.
No, I think that's how you think it. I don't know if that will be the case with them.
But when I seen what Howie Roseman, he ain't got no problem kicking somebody to the curb. I don't think he's more so like how we are. Like, we really care about like the homers and your.
Well, Jerry does. I don't think his son does.
Yeah, I don't think Steven does. But like in terms of how he moves as a GM, like I would like for us to move like that. So like hypothetically speaking, say hypothetically like we were fine at D tackle, even though we weren't really, like we needed some interior presence. I don't think like if we like hypothetically like if we had like go back to like 2007 2008 we got a prime Jay Ratliff. I don't think you draft we're the type of organization to draft a Jalen Carter when you already got Jay Ratliff.
I think if you had Bill Parcells, yeah, because when they had Bill, he drafted Ratliff, he drafted Chris Chanley.
Spears.
He was different. He thought of interior dudes. That's why, but see, here's the thing. That's the Mike McCarthy effect. So here's the thing. It wasn't King. I got it confused. It was D Nice. So in 2020, before the season, I said cut Jalen Smith. I was like, my 53 was different. I was like, here's what I would do, but here's what I think Dallas would do. And so everybody was like, well, how do you replace him? At that time, I still say, you know how it is with me. Like, just draft the dude.
You draft a replacement.
Yeah, draft a replacement. But like you, I agree. I was like, Dallas don't do this. So next year, what was it? Week 4, week 5? They cut Jalen Smith. They just cut him and ate his money. And then this offseason, the full circle. You know how Jerry is, man. How agonizing it was here to cut Dez Bryant. They waited no time to cut Ezekiel Elliott. They didn't sit around. They didn't go through training camp. They just flat out cut him. And so I think right now, culture-wise, I think they're completely different. And I think that's McCarthy. I just think it's a difference with what he brings to the culture as opposed to, and it's not a knock against Dan, because it's, being a head coach is just a whole different animal. It's just completely different.
But are we talking about cultural? Are we talking about culture overall on the team, or just cultural defense? Though the defense,
I'm talking the overall team,
like the team philosophy,
philosophy. It's like remember. Remember before he showed up, DeMarcus Lawrence and them dudes going around calling themselves the Hot Boys, and the 49ers did that. And I'm always one of those people. I'm like this. As a team, you don't name your defense.
You let the media do that.
You go out and do your shit, and you let them give you a name. That's how
we kind of doing it now. I mean, Micah, I heard the Doomsday defense is back, but I mean, it was already a name.
Yeah, and that's why I told people, I was like, no, if I was a player on that team, I would be like, we ain't did nothing. We don't deserve no name, no nothing. But I'm gonna go back a little bit back with it. So and I'm going with all these players. When we got Tyler Smith, first thing he said is he was like, man, I can't touch that Super Bowl. He said, I can't touch the trophy. He said, we got to get our own. He said, then I can touch it. Right. Then you see the offseason. I know D was like, man, what Micah gonna get? And Micah like, I ain't thinking about no contract. I'm thinking about Super Bowl. Diggs said the same thing. Lamb said the same thing. They don't call themselves Hot Boys. They don't make no nicknames. All they do right now is work. Marcus Lawrence cutting his locks. All the guys who didn't play hard are all gone. The veterans they get, because in the past, Dallas was signing a veteran that we knew was like, all right, this dude can't play, and they'd keep him around. Mm-hmm. They sign vets, and they'd be like, this ain't working, and they just cut them. So culture-wise, they are different, because in the past, they would have got Jonathan Hankins, and they'd be like, all right, we good. So they got Jonathan Hankins. They drafted Mozzie. They had tight ends. They went out and got another one, because like you and me, we saw that Hendershot wasn't a complete tight end, but they didn't care what anybody else thinks. I think culture-wise, I just think he has a much more bigger impact. I'm not saying Dan can't coach. I just think that's a whole different type of responsibility to be able to do that. That's just totally different. And is he a guy that if things are not working on the other end of the ball, is he willing to fire somebody? It kind of reminds me of Tony Dungy. Remember all those? I know this is a little bit before you, but you a historian. All those years he stayed in Tampa, and he had Sean King as his quarterback.
And then the year after he left, they finally got it.
Right. Yeah. And you know why? Because they brought in John Gruden.
Yeah.
An offensive guy who could maximize, and he was just like, and you know what happened is it kind of went in the reverse. Dungy went somewhere, he didn't have to worry about the offense, he just had to fix the defense. Gruden shows up, I ain't gotta worry about the defense.
Because he basically got Dungy's defense and was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm good. This is
he
fine.
Also had a good staff. I forgot, like I didn't even know, like until like a couple years ago, that Mike Tomlin was the DB coach on that staff too. So I was like, "Ooh, that staff was legit."
The staff was legit, and the only thing Gruden had to do was come in and infuse it with an edge on the offense. Whereas Mike, I think, had a harder job for years. King, no, you've seen it. I've always told you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it was DeMarcus Lawrence and a pack of puppies, like poodles.
Yeah.
I used to defend him all the time. Oh, he overrated. I'm like, it ain't like you're going out there with a lot of dogs, man. It's like him, maybe a German Shepherd, and maybe a Terrier, and a whole pack of poodles.
A high German Shepherd or a banged up German Shepherd at that.
Yep. He had a guy that may be here, may not be here. It's just like, bro. But now I just think it's completely different. I mean, I wouldn't fire Mike McCarthy, but I agree, King. I have no idea what Jerry Jones gonna do. You just never.
Yeah. I didn't think they're gonna have to. He gonna have to at least make it to the championship, the NFC championship. To at least, that's just me feeling that way.
Do you think that's with the fans, or you think that's with the owner?
I think they're with the owner.
I don't. Do we still think Jerry got he got some say? Do we think he still got the final decision? Because I mean, even like looking at the war room, it looked like he got like the war room when we were trying to go like either Mozzie or the guard. I forgot where he's from, but that guard. It looked like he got some say still, like in the.
I think he has say, but you know what I think is different right now. I think he's surrounded with individuals who are not yes men.
That's true. I think Jerry gonna always have the final say, but however, Steven and the crew now, they what they say matters. But Jerry's still gonna have that final say. He's still gonna have that final say, regardless.
I don't think Trey Lance is a Mike. Like I don't think Mike McCarthy was like, yeah, like, or he even if like Jerry would have went to Mike McCarthy, he would be like, yeah, we should get Trey Lance. He'd probably be like, hell no, like that's not my type of quarterback.
I think Trey Lance is a more of a Mike McCarthy guy. I think so.
Why you say that, Reed?
He just don't fit the like schematically like what you want as a like very like, even though like I know we had like our back and forth with like A-Rod, but A-Rod was still like polished in some sort of way, like in the talent was there.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, like he was polished in a sort of way, and then he just got even more polished, like, you know what I mean, being able to sit for the time he did, which is why when he came out his first year, like hit the ground running, like already like an MVP level player.
Yeah, but he didn't play for his first 3 years.
And that's what I'm saying. But like, I don't feel like, okay, so like hypothetically, do we expect like, now I know it's apples to oranges type of thing, but do we expect like if Trey Lance sits under Dak for 3 years, hypothetically, he's gonna come out guns blazing just like that, or does he still have to have like a season or two of him going through it? You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I don't think.
No, you know what? I'll answer that. Unless King want to go first.
Well, I think as far as Trey Lance, I'm expecting to see more from Trey Lance. Maybe like when I would say after this season we go back into a good training camp, and then him and Cooper Rush can get their own little battles going or whatever. But I don't think we're gonna be that far. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Like even then, King, what are we gonna do with Dak if he don't get us where we need to get us? Because they say they want to re-sign him, but at the same time you're moving like you don't want to re-sign him.
Why you say that?
You wouldn't go get a Trey Lance.
Yeah, you do. All right, this is the reason why.
No. I get you. Always go deep at quarterback, and I get that. Like you always gonna get talent. You don't see like hypothetically. You don't see like even like his comments on like, oh, if Jalen Hurts was there for us, we would get him. Like the shit he says like is contradictory to the actions, and vice versa.
You know what? Because here's the thing: when Jalen Hurts came out, I was like, I would get him,
and I was like that too. But if okay, so like for example, like the Chargers did have Drew Brees. The only reason the Chargers like didn't resign Drew Brees was because of the him what's the word I'm looking for? Him having that like that shoulder injury that he had. And you didn't know, like, you didn't know, like that's a like one of the worst shoulder injuries you could see, and it was like
he had the rotary cuff injury.
Yeah, so like you didn't even know, like, so like I get that aspect, but in terms of the Phillip Rivers era, you didn't see the Chargers be like, yeah, we gonna go out and get somebody to replace Phillip Rivers. You ain't see that in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, where you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go get somebody for Big Ben. Even if he's your franchise guy and you know like he's going to get you there,
right? You
don't, especially for like the type of talent Trey Lance is. Like he's a like in terms of talent, like the kid got something. Right. He's just really raw.
Right.
I don't think like that sends a message to your quarterback. Like you know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. But I'm gonna let you talk before I
okay, so like for example, like how do you think Brett Favre felt? Like Brett Favre was fucking hot. That's why he threatened to retire every other year because you literally
you talking about later on, you know, like at the interior of his career. Because if you go back and look during the time that he was there with the Packers, Ron Wolf drafted 7 quarterbacks. He shipped all of them out. Hold on, he shipped.
Were they first round picks?
No, all of them wasn't first round picks.
How many were first round? I would have to look that up as well. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, none of them were.
Yeah, only Rodgers. I think it was.
And that's my thing. Like I don't think like okay, so like say in Pittsburgh in 2014, you go out and get a first round pick quarterback. What does that tell Big Ben?
But hold on. It depends. Well, I'm gonna try to answer. Well, which one do you want me to address first? You want me to do the Dak? Because you gave me a lot of different ones.
Okay. First off, like how long do you really think like how long do you think Dak got before we move on from him? If we don't get to where we want to go, like and my question, like a kind of secondary question is that is it like it could be from you, like your opinion, or like what do you think like the Cowboys want? Like is it the NFC Championship game? Is it Super Bowl?
I'll try to answer it a lot of ways, but I want to make sure I want to hear you out first before I like retort, because I know you got a lot going. So you saying how long do I think before they move on from them? What's the whole scenario? Because I want to address it properly.
Yeah, because like even like okay, so like my thing is like Trey Lance is 24, right?
Yes.
You let Dak play out his contract. Like say you got like 2 years left on his deal, right?
Right.
Say you give him a 2-year extension. Depending on what we do, we might not win the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, but he gets to the NFC Championship game. We get to the Super Bowl, lose. He gonna get another 2 years probably, at least extension.
I don't know. Maybe
you don't know. Depends on how he plays though too.
With this current regime and the way they've been doing things lately, don't know. I'm gonna ask you this: you think that
even then, realistically, what age do you think Trey Lance is gonna play?
If based on my judgment of him, I think he needs 3 years of development.
Okay, so that means by the time he's 27, turning 28.
But in fairness of the player, I don't know how accelerated he could be with Mike McCarthy. Because I've seen Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
Bono, Brooks.
Hey, man, Brooks was the one.
Bruh, Matt Flynn. Hell, we ain't even got to say that.
He came out here and won with Matt Flynn.
Bro, we ain't even got to say that because I was on the phone with Reef. Dak Prescott went down. This is just me and you talking. You told me you was on draft mode. King is always talking about we need to get these boys good energy. So he was staying positive. I wasn't tripping because I was like, bro, he beat us with Matt Flynn.
I was saying like draft mode in the sense of like, okay, if that go down, like I said, I didn't think the defense last year was going to be as like because they were like on a dominant level, and it kind of tailed off when Dak came back. Right. But those first four.
I want to answer everything properly.
No, go ahead. Go.
Okay, so we'll go with his development. I think that he needs 3 years of development, but then again, I don't always like to say that because when you look at Tyler Smith, a lot of people thought he was raw, and then you saw how accelerated his process was. You also saw Michael Parsons. People talked about his mental processing in college. That was the one thing people used to point at. Yeah. It's hard to say because I always tell people, yeah, but I got to see another game because players get better. They make adjustments, and some guys thrive on coaching. Once again, he could accelerate. Then
I think we kind of lucked into the Michael Parsons thing because
it's always luck. It's
because I think like if Dorrance, Randy, and DeMarcus didn't go down, we might not have seen him at DN until this year, in my opinion.
Well, see, here's the thing. If Patrick Surtain doesn't get drafted before us, I think
we go DB.
Yeah, they go DB.
Or that kid that's in Carolina. What's his name? That plays South Carolina.
JC.
Right.
JC.
Yeah.
So I think they were gonna go. Yeah. They were gonna go corner route, but I want to answer the quarterback thing. Where your ass at?
No, I still hear you. You're good.
Oh, yeah. He gave me a lot to digest, and I want to retweet. Yeah,
go ahead. I still hear you.
No, come on the screen. I know you get yourself situated. Okay, so let me answer it. It's hard for me to say what his acceleration is, but let's just say it's 2 to 3 years. Now, I will say
a minimum 2 to 3 years, and I say
towards 3. But based on what I have seen of the clips that I've seen, the things that he can do, he is by far way beyond Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
He can do things that Cooper Rush can't imagine doing.
Right. If you just simplify it down.
Right. Now, here's another thing. Because you mentioned talent. We're just talking strictly talent. He's the most talented quarterback on the roster.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, no.
That's right.
Physical traits.
Now, here's another one. I think I said this to you. I actually did say this to you, and I said it to Steve punk ass, who said he was going to jump on, but he don't want no smoke. As much as people talk about Shanahan as a coach, and he is, I think Shanahan scheme-wise is very, very good, but I also think he has the same problem as his father. I do not think either one of them can develop quarterbacks. I have not seen it. I haven't seen it at all. I'm not saying that they can't get a guy. I think they have a particular guy that they look for to fit their system. I think they need a guy that's savvy, smart, and I understand that. Everyone needs that. But I'm saying McCarthy take dudes that when they finally do start, or people have seen him in the past, they're like, oh, this guy, it's no way in hell this is going to work.
Well, my retort to that, what did you think of Kirk Cousins and when did you think of Matt Ryan? At the time that Kyle Shanahan became the Atlanta OC, what did you think of Matt Ryan? And what did you think of Kirk Cousins?
I thought Matt was a good quarterback. I thought he was a good quarterback.
Did you think he was an MVP level quarterback?
That's all a little bit. That's a little different because of how the league is. You can't play bump and run. You go out get.
He was a little skewed though, bro. When you throw Julio Jones, that kind of
right. And you have Julio Jones, and like you said, it was super geared towards the offense. So what he did was fine. The things that he did, but I thought Matt was like a really good piece of red bone steak. But Cooper Rush is perfection. Right, but Cooper Rush is baloney. Is baloney.
Well, okay, so what about Kirk then? Because Kirk was a 5th round pick in the RG3 draft.
I thought when Kirk Cousins was coming out, I wanted Dallas to draft him in the second round.
I thought about it too.
Yeah. So, because here's the thing, I'm gonna piggyback something for you. I don't know what Jerry's thinking, because he said all type of weird shit. But we know this collectively: quarterbacks are a premium. People will pay a lot for quarterbacks. That's why I say every year, draft one, draft them, develop them, and send them on their way. Now, the only thing with the Trey Lance, Dak Prescott thing that I have a problem with now that I really had a chance to absorb it is the timeline, because they're both on the same timeline. So it's one of those things. It's like I wanted a developmental quarterback, but this guy's contract ends when Prescott's contract ends. So, and with Jerry making the move, it comes off like this. Now, I don't know what you guys buy or what's great for anything. I know King's married, Don's married, you with your girl. So there could be certain things in the house that y'all all kind of need or whatever. So I don't know how the TVs and all that set up, but let's say all three of you brothers are going down the street. You see this big screen TV is like 90 inches, but you guys got 70-inch TVs. But you get it because it's a great price. Then you bring it home, and then your wife is like, why'd you get this? Because it was a great price, but we really don't need it. There's no space in here. And I think the Trey Lance thing is kind of like that. I love the move, but the only problem is it's the timeline. And it's like if they extend him and say they extend him at a backup price of $6 million, I'll be fine with that. Or are they going to feature him next year heavily and then flip him? Because it's one of them things is I have no problems with getting him, but I thought he was under for 3 years at first. And then when I found 2 years, I'm like, all right, that's Dak Prescott's timeline. So how do they do that? So this is how I would answer that if it was me. I would really, really play him next year. Like he would be getting a Mozzie Smith treatment. Like he's going to be playing preseason. He needs reps. I need to find out what he is.
Every blowout, he's in the game.
Bruh, he playing preseason. He is going to get a lot of reps because I have to showcase him. If someone comes along and want to give me a second round pick for him, I'm moving on from him. That's what I would do. If his agent comes to me and say, well, he loves it here, because the one thing that was interesting with him when they made the trade for Trey Lance said this: I want to go somewhere where I can get a chance to be the number 2. He didn't say starter. He said number 2. So if I can get him at the same kind of $6 million and say I can extend him for 2 or 3 years, something like that, then I would do it. And then after that, I would really just see who's the better quarterback. Now, I don't think he's at Dak's level. But let's say he's Dak 2016. And someone wants to give you 2 first-round picks for Dak Prescott. What do you do? Exactly.
You give up them 2 picks.
Yeah, I'll take them 2 picks, and you can have my quarterback.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So to me, it would be all about. Like I said, I see it. I would always draft quarterbacks. Hell, even with all the guys we got now, I'm still drafting a quarterback.
So like, okay, so
just like Ron Wolf said, like every year take a quarterback.
You take the quarterback every year.
That league, man, somebody in the league's gonna have an issue with their quarterback, whether the quarterback's hurt, or they're not happy with the performance, and they'll overpay. That's exactly what happened in Green Bay.
They do it every year.
So my question would be to you guys is like, and this for everybody, what do you guys feel like our window is? Like how long we got? Because if you feel like, okay, you like you said, John, you're trying to win multiple Super Bowls, and you feel like we're still going to win multiple Super Bowls and compete for like multiple years.
Yeah, we ain't doing
right.
If he hypothetically we move on from Dak at the end of his contract, you're gonna be 27 years old, going on 28. You gotta be that dude right then. Like there's no wait in the gear. There's no wait in the
Well, here's the thing too, though. But here's the advantage. You won the one advantage that you have with Trey Lance slightly over Dak Prescott is that Prescott was molded by Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan, and all of that. That's just I like what you said about your coach. You talked about what your coach did. And sometimes it takes a while to try to get away from some bad tendencies. Whereas Lance is actually a mold of clay that as a coach, you build them up. I always told people I would have loved to have seen McCarthy inherit Prescott like in the draft as opposed to picking him up now after.
Right.
I think he's improved him. But there are areas that I do see where I'm like, all right, he's still bouncy. He still does something.
Yeah, very toesy, like the quarterback guy said. Like,
right, he's always been like I've told people, I'm like his arm is fine. It's his mechanics kind of goes.
That's exactly what's wrong with him. Right.
So it's also like, even though I know it's a different position, Michael Parsons that we see now was not the Michael Parsons in college. They didn't unleash him.
They didn't use him the right way.
Right. But Dan Quinn got him and was like, okay, I can build this guy up from the ground up. It's always good getting young players because you can mold them into what you want them to be. And so I just think, I believe that the things that I've seen him do, that I think he could be successful. I'm not going to say he's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But I have so much faith in McCarthy because I've seen this dude. This dude take quarterbacks, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Man, Matt Flynn.
Whoa, yeah.
The way he called that game with Matt Flynn in there, that shows you everything. Hey, you can look at that. You can look at Rodgers too. Like the game, of course, Rodgers got talent, but you look at McCarthy calling plays for him. He knows his quarterback, man. And
I know Reef is going to push back on this with you, but I'm telling you, bro, Brett Favre looked washed before McCarthy told him.
But like, and I would say that, and my argument would be that way. Like he went to Minnesota.
Hold on,
even now the Jets.
One good year with Peterson, right?
And they kind of faltered.
I'm gonna counter that. He inherited Brad Childress, and Brad Childress is very good at
developing.
Oh man,
that dude's like an offensive guru.
And the offensive guru.
Yeah, he is.
That's why I think coaching matters. I do think talent matters. I don't think, because me and you talked about it physically. We saw how far Cooper could go before it just seemed like, man, he ran a marathon. I think he's one of them ideal dudes for about 4 games. He can do that. Yeah. When it start hitting 5 and 6, bruh, stressed out. It's like a 12-year-old trying to eat steak, or you got some 6-year-old trying to drive that rig. Like, Daddy King. I just think he can only go so far. But when I look at the physical talent for Trey Lance, you know what else I did like? When he lost the job to Sam Darnold, I didn't hear any like horrible things. Like I didn't hear like trade me, and he just took it very classy.
The 49ers were looking to move him. He wasn't looking to move.
No, I understand that, but you know, sometimes players who get drafted the first round, they're act a certain way.
Just a few.
Right. So I'm looking at him just character. I don't know him, but I always look at that stuff sometimes. Like we've had it when Taco wasn't getting any burn, he get on Twitter. Ain't nobody love me. Well, dude, maybe if you play better, things would go your way. So sometimes I like to see how a player reacts to a situation that wasn't good for them. So that says a lot about his character. Of course, he has to produce, but I've seen glimpses, and I'm just like, oh my God, I wish we would have had him for 4 years. I wish we would have got him like in his second year, because then you have this guy longer. They just got to figure it out. I don't know how they figure it out, because after knowing
backup, man. You know they groomed him to be backup, like probably not next year, but definitely the year out. He's gonna
I think he's gonna be the backup next year. I see him beating Cooper Rush out next year. I just see that. Period.
Cooper Rush in a contract year. I don't think
they both.
Is he a contract this year?
Well, here's the thing: they all gonna be in contract
year. He'll be that's his contract.
In the next year.
Yeah, Cooper Rush contract ain't so bad to where if they walked away from it, they're gonna be like, ouch.
Yeah, true.
But you know what? You know what, King?
Right.
I wouldn't walk away from it. Because if he beats him out, I'm trading Cooper Rush.
Well, right. Well, yeah, I would do that. And then, like we were saying about Lane, it was just unfortunate his injuries kept him out all this time. You know, I feel like if he never was injured, we wouldn't even have a sniff at Trey Lance anyway.
He'd probably be starting for the 49ers.
Well, the thing is, you also had a coordinator deciding to make him a running back, and it's just like, why would
that was bad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Three, man, they need to quit that stuff. Plays they call for him, man. They just
I'll say this, Reese. If I was running things, one of them quarterbacks getting traded. Like
Rush.
I'm trading
Cooper Rush, man.
And it more than likely gonna be Cooper Rush. My whole thing in all season would be this. This would be my number one priority. Let me see if I can extend Trey Lance to a friendly deal. Because I'm not doing his 5th-year option. That's $24 million.
Oh yeah, no, that ain't
I'm not doing that.
And I don't think the thing is, so he ain't expecting none of that. Like you said, he want to be a backup. Like he's coming.
Yeah, but I don't know how many teams will want Cooper Rush though. But you know, Trey Lance is more of a sexier trade than Rush.
Even the Jets, I believe the Jets a 3rd or a 4th for even as a backup.
Yeah,
just for that. Hold on.
Here's some names for you. Sam Darnold on his 3rd or 4th team. Somebody want to help? Matt Castle. What we had out there? Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's a lot of quarterbacks, bro. That you'd have been like, this guy still playing? Teams love.
That's true.
If you look at the division, man, you don't think Washington want that dude as a backup or potential, like let him win a couple games?
And if I'm not mistaken, some team offered him a starting position. He turned it down. He just didn't want it. But now that I got him on the contract, you ain't got no trade clause. So I would flip him. I would flip Cooper Rush.
They need to. They definitely need to, man. Because I mean, now he's got some value.
And then you know what, Ken? Not only just the trade. Let's go look at the draft. There are a lot of guys who look at
this quarterback class is deep. No.
It is. It's deep this year.
Hold on. I don't mean that. What I mean is, I've always said this. I'm not no GM, of course. But I don't think anybody can deny that throughout the league itself, there's a lot of stupid people. Let's go back. Let's go back.
John Lynch.
Let's go back and look at Denver. They passed on 2 quarterbacks. They had opportunities to fix that, and they decided. I believe this is a deep class, but sure enough, I expect 3 teams are going to go out and sign a veteran guy. And they're going to pass up. They do it every year. You just sit there like, you can fix your problem if you just do this, dude. And they go out and sign somebody that you're like, why are they doing this?
Exactly.
So the Saints with Derek Carr, they had a similar level quarterback in Jameis Winston already on the team. You could have just rolled with Jameis for a year and then see what you might have had a Geno, and if you didn't get a Geno situation, you got this class coming up.
Somebody like that.
The Colts.
Yeah, they would be set.
Look at the Colts. They was just retreading old dudes on the end. Why don't you just fix this shit and draft the dude?
Yeah, but they got a project. We'll see what Buddy end up being. Like,
if he could stay healthy, he looked easily like the most comfortable, the most confident.
He does right now.
And it's not like the Colts is what he has around him. You don't even got his best offensive players. Like what he has around him is similar to what Carolina has. It's similar to what the Texans have. Now the Texans is a dumpster fire. I mean, I think their whole offensive line is hurt, but in terms of just like skill talent, like Andy Richardson ain't working with much either. And he's not.
No, and what I'm saying is I'm not knocking Anthony Richardson, but I just think the Colts could have fixed that early.
Yeah.
He could have went out and gotten there early. And I just think that's going to happen. I don't know what's going on with Justin Fields either. I don't know how that situation is going to play out. Detroit, I don't know how that situation is going to play out. It's just all of these situations where you see these teams and they do it every year. So, yeah, I would draft a quarterback.
I don't think Goff, even though, like, I felt like me personally, what people used to say about Goff, like, that he was better than Dak, like, early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so like I felt like he was getting baby. Like I ain't never
I ain't never seen
an NFL quarterback literally come up to the line like it's college. Literally,
look over at the coordinator.
You know what I mean? Go hard count and then see what the defense doing. Look to the sideline at Sean McVay and get the check in the read for him, and then go. You know what I mean? Like he was getting legitimately babied. But I feel like he's coming to.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying anything that I'm saying is not a reflection on the quarterback. It's more the reflection of the organizations. It's like because we've seen it. They go just every year. And yes, I think this is a very good class, and that's why I would draft a quarterback this year. If I'm the Cowboys, I may draft a dude in the 5th round, but I'm drafting a guy. I had that guy for 4 years, and that means I just got a bunch of riches in the quarterback room, and so I'm going to go out and make some trades. So we'll see what happens. But I do think I think the trade in hindsight, when I've had a chance to look over it, it's probably one they didn't need to make because the timelines are similar. And it's just like, okay, we're gonna have one.
If they don't extend Dak, how much is Dak count against the salary cap?
Next year is 60, but I don't know about the year after.
So I can't see them not extending him. That case, see them not extending him. They're not going to take that hit.
Next year will be his last year. Like if they don't.
Yeah, he got 1 year left. So you actually think they're going to pay him 60? You actually think they're going to pay him that much?
Next year, I think depending on how he does, you can't cut him outright. So like,
no, I wouldn't cut him. I wouldn't cut him.
Right.
For me, I would just play it out if it was me.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
And that's where I feel like they back themselves into a corner in a way because you're forcing yourself, like you literally letting them know, like, listen.
Well, you know what?
You get it done in these 2 years. You get where we.
The thing is, I don't think he thinks that. I think every player who plays in the NFL, everybody gets replaced.
Yeah, it's a business at the end of the day.
Right.
Well, not just a business. It's just like it's inevitable. Somebody young is gonna take your spot. Like it's just in any sport you play. Like right now, wherever you play in high school, somebody playing your spot now because you just moved on. You older. It's just eventually that's gonna happen. So, I just think it's interesting. I think he looks really good, but I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see what McCarthy can develop for Trey Lance, but I'm not like other people thinking like he's ready now. Like
he's not ready right now.
No, I don't think he's ready now. I mean, I want to at least give him 2. Ideally, I would be fine sitting him for 3 years. Ideally, that would be my plan. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys plan is going to be. And
I'm thinking maybe this year and next year.
Yeah, because we don't know. He could be more smart because you got to realize he hasn't played a lot of football.
No,
he hasn't had a lot of development. He hasn't had a lot of chances. So it would be interesting. I think his skill set and what he has would fit the West Coast offense, though.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What's that third string quarterback we just released it before the season started?
Will Grier.
Will Grier. If he now Will Grier was outstanding in the last preseason game. So let's just say hypothetical, preseason Trey Lance playing, and he playing way better than that. What do you do? Way better than what Will Grier played in that last preseason game. What do you do?
You mean if Trey Lance plays like that, starting out all the preseason games, he's playing that?
Yes, just like that.
All right, I'm picking up the phone call. I'm shopping.
Exactly.
I'll stop at Cooper Rush. Okay, and then go further. I would extend Prescott, but I would do it. I have to add a voidable year in there. So that's the way to stretch the money. Go ahead, Ruth.
But my thing would be like, what if it's the same shit?
What do you mean?
What if he underperforms again and we don't get to where we want to go? Like, I feel like.
Oh, you mean Dak Prescott or?
Yeah, so like I feel like if he don't get to an NFC Championship game,
You mean this year?
And he's like I wouldn't say he's the full reason last year. He was number one though.
Well, hold on. This is just me. Yeah, he was the reason. He was the reason.
He was the reason. You play a clean football game, we win that game by a touchdown, easily.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've said this. Y'all know Ray, because Ray the biggest.
Yep.
He probably listening, so he don't care. We go back and forth at it, but in a respectful way. It's my brother.
Yeah, that's how I got. That's how I got.
He's the biggest Dak Prescott advocate ever, and I've always said that I think he is a top tier quarterback, but I think he's top 10. But I always say guys who are 5 and up, those are exceptional guys. And
he's a 7 through 10.
He's a 7 through 10 guy. And 7 through 10 guys sometimes need a little help. 5 and up guys, they could take a Joe whatever, and they could turn that guy to an all-pro player. And you're like, how did they do this? And so I'm not gonna say he's Pat Mahomes. Pat's special. I'll give him that. But he also had Andy Reid that built him up from the beginning, so that works. Andy has a good eye for talent. But I agree with you. And it's not the underperformance, it's also his age. He's 30 years old. Like he's gonna be 30 at the end of his contract, he's gonna be 32.
So do you feel like he had been playing his strength out of? I'm sorry, go ahead. No, you go. Go ahead, Reeve.
No, I was gonna say, like, so do you move? So, like, okay, so say hypothetically he do underperform this year, and then you got Trey Lance balling in the preseason, like absolutely balling. Do you feel comfortable with moving him then?
Yeah, see, because I'm not afraid of the unknown.
Right.
Do you think the Cowboys would feel comfortable with moving him?
Based on this current regime, yeah. Because they surprised. Because here's the thing. I said I would cut Jalen Smith. I didn't think they would do it based on their history, like everything you said. But they cut him. They cut him. They cut Ezekiel Elliott. They cut dudes, and they just were like, we just moving on. I think, and another thing is, if you know, lately, they lie. Like, oh, yeah, we're looking for a tight end. They go out and get a too. Oh, Ezekiel Elliott. He's the focal point for the offense. Next week they cut his ass. So
who's saying is Jerry saying? Because Jerry's like the spokesperson. I think it's more so Jerry saying that than they are saying that.
Well, the only reason why I say they, I'm just putting them all together in the sense, yeah, Jerry is the spokesperson, but they didn't keep Ezekiel Elliott. They cut him. They didn't draft the tight end. They drafted the interior guy. They cut Jalen Smith and didn't miss a beat. They just kept going on and on with it. So I know they've said things about Dak Prescott. And here's another one. If Jason Garrett is the golden child, then Kellen Moore was the golden son. And they didn't hesitate. Once the season was over, what was it, 5 days later they got rid of him? Normally they used to didn't do that in the past. They would take forever to make decisions. And so now it's just a little different. I think Dak Prescott can lead them to a Super Bowl. I think he can win a Super Bowl. But if they release him or just play his contract out, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, not what they've been doing lately. It just wouldn't surprise me. I'm being serious. I never would have thought.
So hypothetically, we do move Trey Lance. Dak underperforms this year in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He don't play necessarily like up to the standards you want. And then you end the season, do you let his contract play out, or do you be like, fuck it, we're gonna see what we can get in the draft? And now you got to play somebody day one. You might have an NFL ready roster. It might be like the best situation you could put a rookie quarterback in, but you got to play a rookie. Do you think we do that, or do we extend them for the sake of like, yeah, we don't know, but still draft somebody? You know what I'm saying?
You know what, you're asking good questions, but I'm trying to counter it because lately they've been doing the opposite. That's been the biggest thing that I've watched is like, okay, this is what I would do, but they've been a little opposite. I remember how hard it took them to just cut Dez Bryant, and I think Ezekiel Elliott was more loved than Bryant, and they just cut his ass. They just moved on from him, and so here's another one. They released Amari Cooper.
Yeah, man.
I think that was just a bad business decision. But
I'm not saying that the move was the right move, but that's very un-cowboy like. Like, regardless of how they looked at it, it was very un-cowboy like.
That was very out un-cowboy like, but they did it in return to sign a homegrown player, whereas Amari was not a cowboy.
I think what I'm saying is I think you can look at it that way, but it also seemed like they were, and also what they do is with it being a bad decision, they didn't wait 3 or 4 years. They was like, all right, this was bad. Let's go out and grab a guy. And they didn't overpay a guy. They got a complimentary receiver that was a 2, because I always thought even if Amari was here, CeeDee Lamb was going to be a 1. I just think his personality is more like that. I think Amari is more like a John Taylor, and it's like, all right, somebody else, Jerry Rice, I'm cool.
I mean, when they gave him the 80, when they gave him the 88, you knew what it was,
right? And so, but also they were like, we made a mistake, we'll fix it. So they've been doing stuff kind of. So if let's say they release Prescott, they go with Lance, it kind of doesn't work. I think they'll draft a quarterback high. Like, they don't seem like they're afraid to admit a mistake. If they make a mistake now, they seem like, all right, we made a mistake, but we'll fix this by going out and getting this. It's also like the corners, even though they had Diggs, they drafted Calvin in the 2nd, they drafted Nashawn Wright in the 3rd, they went out and got Blaine in the 5th. He jumped both of them, and then they was like, let's go get Stephon Gilmore. So that's just Dallas like. They just continue to say, oh, we got 2 tight ends, look pretty good. Oh, we're gonna draft another one. Oh, by the way, we're gonna play this undrafted dude a lot too, who probably would have made the roster. So they just doing a lot of un-Dallas Cowboy like stuff. So in the past, I would have clearly said they would extend Dak Prescott. Because here's the thing, they keep talking about it, but they still ain't did it.
Exactly. Yeah.
They talking a lot about it.
But it's just this salary cap here that make me think that it. And then I don't know. Maybe if they extend them, they're going to free up more money. Then you got the injuries. I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
But here's the thing. Diggs' contract is less than market value. He could have got 25, less money. Terrence Steele's contract less than market value. It's $14 million. And honestly, it's this year, in 2 years, it's 24. They can walk away from that. They got money coming off the books also next year. They could always just get him a voidable year, man, and tack that all, and they just extend his money. And that means his hit will be less. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't extend him because I would be like, I got to see what he can do. Like, that would be the way I would go about it.
I agree with it, like, as well. Like I said, in a couple streams ago, like, this is the best we're gonna see. That I think, like, me personally, I think the best Dak Prescott was 2020, and we were robbed of that. Like, in terms of like just how he was as a confident passer in the pocket, and then he still had his like true running ability, like that threat. Like 2020 was like the best Dak we will see. And I think
we're gonna see the best Dak this year with his West Coast.
Talent wise, I don't think so. I think like in terms of like how he works with like a scheme, like in terms of just like being the most efficient, yeah. But like in terms of like, I listened. The 2020 was a shitty year, but those first 5 games, like even though we started like what 1-4 or 2-3, something like that. I was like, oh, we still in the division was weak that year. I was like, oh yeah, we can go to the playoffs, and I think we could have made something shape, regardless, just because of how he like the level he was playing at. Like it was like a upper, like I think in 2020 you could have definitively at the end of that season said like, oh yeah, Dak's a top 5 dude, and I just think the injury like robbed us of that.
I think the injury has robbed him of some athleticism, but I'm gonna piggyback with King. I think this year he's gonna have his best season. It's because I think the West Coast
and he still had a nice little run.
Yeah, the West Coast offense. So no,
my bad, Joe.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk because
I'm just saying like Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I know his athleticism. He's not the, like when he first came into the league, running like that. But I mean, he still got a little juice left in him. He got a little juice left in him. And
he's robbed of some, but not significantly of that. And even when he was at his peak athletically, he wasn't an elite runner.
But he was a more effective runner. And more
right.
I wouldn't even say more effective, more willing, definitely more willing.
Well, yeah, I mean, when your foot get turned around 360 degrees, you do have some hesitation, especially since it was just a regular. It wasn't like it was. He got caught up, and so it was just a standard tackle, and then before you know it, your foot, you looking at your foot and like, wait, my foot going this way, my body's going this other way. But I believe with the West Coast offense, he going. I'm not gonna say he gonna cook because I don't like that term. That means you throwing too much. But I think he is going. The West Coast. Me and King used to talk about this forever. Years ago, I was like, bro, put him in the West Coast offense. People keep disagreeing with me except for King. He looks like Donovan McNabb, but he's a better passer.
Yeah.
You disagree?
I didn't think we're gonna see the best of that. I think we're gonna see some good Dak play this year with this West Coast. I just feel it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say like a better passer in terms of what I feel like. In terms of like, I think Dak's strength, like as a quarterback, is just like his pre-snap recognition and like before the play is like very much so like. And many would disagree with me on this, but like his like in terms of like, and I feel like that's because like he wasn't like I said with Jared Goff, he wasn't baby. Like it wasn't like he didn't have like a Sean McVay, he didn't have an Andy Reid, he didn't have no like he was figuring this shit out as he went. So like his
he had two good coaches. I'm
not gonna say Bill Callahan wasn't a good.
No, he didn't have Bill Callahan.
Oh, he didn't. Who do we have? Oh, Linehan. I wouldn't say. Oh, excuse me, Linehan. I don't feel like Linehan was a decent offensive coordinator. Like very like predictable. Like
I'm not talking Scott. Like I ain't talking.
Who you mean?
Who you mean?
Like Jason Garrett?
You talking like John Kidner?
John Kidner and Wade Wilson. Those were two good coaches for him. The problem is they got rid of Kidner after a year because Kidner was his 2019 coach. And he carried that over to 2020. You saw it. But you also saw, with the injury that he didn't have. That's where he became more aggressive under Kidner. And Kidner used to always
he liked his Sanchez. He was high on Mark Sanchez too. He might have had a Sanchez too.
Yeah, when they got rid of the vet quarterback, and I was like, so who does he turn to? He turned to Kellen Moore? Like what? How many skills did he have on the wall? What is he gonna tell him?
A dude he was way better than.
Yeah, what is he gonna tell him? Like there's nothing that he can tell him to educate him. And so I just thought early in his career he had a better situation, but they never continued to build on that. I always look at quarterbacks as like horses, and you got to find the best jockeys for them, and that's coaching. And so
absolutely,
I think Prescott's coaching this year is much, much better than anything he's had in his NFL career. But I do think the West Coast offense is going to suit him fine. Now, it ain't flawless, and I go back to what you said, Reed. I thought they needed to play in the preseason, to iron some things out. And I love what the quarterback dude was talking about. There's just little technical stuff that he has to really like clean up. But I think McCarthy will fix that. I agree. I think by week 8, I expect it to be more in a rhythm. Like I think it could be real because it's just them throws. Like when he missed the tight end, and then when he missed C, I'm like he was locking in on one area and not looking at. But I think he'll fix that because he is a grinder. That's the one thing about him as a quarterback I've always noticed. He will put in the work, and that's really, really good. He wants to get coached. He wants to get better. So I think it's going to be a benefit for him. But I agree. 2020, he was nice. I thought he was good in 2021 until he had that.
2021, he was good. Real good. I mean, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. It's 67% completion.
Bro, that's some top 5 stuff there.
Yeah, like that, and that's
and we don't know. And we don't know what would have happened if he never had that calf injury. Because I don't think he was
MVP.
Yeah, I don't think he was
he
ever
was the front runner.
Yeah, I think he did more to his calf than they let on, because he never seemed to be comfortable ever again physically from it. Now he was just, at times it seemed like he was laboring. But yeah, I think he's gonna. We'll see how it play out. I mean, if it's John Herndon, I do it differently, but we'll see how they play it out. I'm curious of how they're gonna do things. It's gonna be very interesting of how they do everything. What is this? Hold up. Is that Brian? Wait a minute. But that's some good questions.
Very good question.
Yeah, those are all very, very good questions. We'll see how they play this stuff out. But yeah, I don't have a problem with the quarterback pickups. Like, I would have, if we was a top 5 in 2016, I would have drafted Justin Fields with no hesitation. I'd have drafted him. But we have to see how they're gonna play this out. We'll see how it play out. But we got a lot of good stuff coming up, so we'll see. Yeah. Well, all of this stuff will probably be answered in the offseason, because some guys, I just think they're just gonna have to lose, because you can't pay everybody.
It's true.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did with the safeties. I think they went a little too quick with that. But yeah,
I would have rather, like I said, I think I told you, John, like I would rather keep Curse, let Donovan and Malik go. Keep Curse.
I am a big Donovan Wilson fan, but I would have been okay with letting him walk. And Malik Hooker, I'd have been like, we're just gonna play this year out. Like, so you trying to win a Super Bowl. So if you win a Super Bowl, more than likely you're gonna get paid elsewhere anyway. You're gonna get money. But they decided to go there a little bit early. So I think Thomas, I think they'll sign. He'll have a deal, and then Bell. What is this? Bell's 3rd year?
Yeah.
So they got to figure out what they're gonna do with him. I think Israel may end up not making a second contract under Dallas. Not because I don't think he's talented. I just think the room may be too crowded.
Too congested, yeah.
Yeah, it's just too many people there. And I don't know. And here's another one that comes off next year. Gilmore. He's only under us for a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
1-year deal.
I would have, like, depending on what he do this year. Like I said, like if Terrence Newman can play, if he's willing to play for that long, if Terrence Newman is a good corner, he ain't Stephon Gilmore.
No, he's not.
Level corner. If he could play till he's 40.
But do you want to pay a dude who's gonna be 33?
I don't think necessarily. If he took a when the Patriots traded him to the Panthers, he finished out his big deal with the Patriots with them. He didn't take a lot of money with it. I think he took like $6 million with the 2 years 12 with the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows, like, you know what I mean.
It depends. I know players love money, man.
I don't think he's that type of dude, but I'm just counting on him not being that type of. I'm not mad at him if he gets.
No. I'm never mad at players getting money. I always say, get your money, get as much bread as you want. But I think
more so like he was in a winning culture for so long. I mean, he got his big payday. He got 2 big paydays. The Patriots paid him after Buffalo let him go. And then the Patriots gave him another contract as he got his defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I don't know what's in his mind. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
but 33 is 33 though. That's still up in age. I would probably look for his replacement and thank him for his service.
You could always draft. Like you said, you could always draft somebody, but
true.
I mean, if he could still play, and like I said, if Terrence Newman could be a fucking
absolutely. The only problem is Dallas is not really loaded with a lot of draft picks next year. So, and I don't know who the corners that can step up. I think they got project corners as opposed to somebody being grown. I mean, I wouldn't be against 2 for 10. I can do that deal.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. And the good thing about it is though, like we don't got a lot of picks next year. You still got your first, your second, and your third. You gotta hit.
True. And they have complimentary picks.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have like a 5th round pick from Zeke.
Right. And it's not like they haven't been finding undrafted guys. You know, they have did that. They've been showing that they can find people who can play even if they don't get them drafted. So all right, brothers. It's late. King dropped off. I know he's been on and off. He on the road. What you thinking about doing? Truck driving? Long distance truck driving? Reef?
Who, me? Long distance truck? No.
I was just wondering.
That's
that's
for
14 years with his wife.
Yeah, no, that's why I got with I wanted to get with Dink to talk to him about the military because I might be thinking about getting to the military and see what that's about. But
Jordan the military? Yeah, you're still young. Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you did you exchange numbers with him?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, give him a call. That motherfucker always up. He up when you up.
All right.
Yeah, he be up late. He be up late. He be up late like me sometimes. I'll see him at 2:30 in the morning and I'll call him. I've talked to him later at night. He was the one that helped me get on when I started doing the writing. He a good brother, man. I can't say enough about it. He is always willing to help. So yeah, he gonna always be busy. So don't think like, man, you busy. I can't, because he always busy. I'll be telling him I want to grow up and be like you. He always doing movies. He always into something. So yeah, definitely get up to it. That'd be interesting. Which way would you go?
I wanted to do the Air Force. I got my degree and I would like to be commissioned in, but when I applied this year, they were saying essentially I didn't get a STEM degree. I did business and communications because I also wanted to be that was my dream, to be a sports journalist. You gotta grind and you don't make a lot. And I would like to get into a position where I can work, make some money, and then do that.
Yeah, because you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you be like him. What he did with his career, he flipped that, and now you seeing all the stuff he wanted to do, he pursuing.
Yeah, he's doing it. So
it's possible. We'll wrap this up. Thanks everybody, and then I'm just gonna cut the stream and we'll talk.
No, you're good.